So your English is good. You have vocabulary, you have some grammar, and maybe you like to throw in a cheeky phrasal verb or an idiom here and there. That's great. But still, people are saying, huh? What? What did you say? I completely understand. Don't worry. I am told this by people every day. Today, I have 3 simple steps I want you to follow just to begin your journey to a more structured approach to learning pronunciation. Instead of watching just loads of random videos and not really knowing where you're going, it's so much better to follow an actual structure when you learn pronunciation, right? I had this issue when I was learning the guitar. I just watched loads of random YouTube videos and I was getting nowhere until I started following a structured approach. Whether that was created by myself or by a teacher, it just made so much more sense and I could feel myself slowly growing and building muscle memory. This is what pronunciation is. It's all about muscle memory building. So we're not revising for an exam. We're trying to train our mind and our mouth to make a connection, to start doing things without having to think about them. But it all starts by identifying what your problems are. So hopefully I can help you find those problems and give you these steps which can set you off in the right direction. After you've thought about the why and the when and the how, do I want a British accent or do I just want some accent reduction? Do I want a bit of both? Think about those things first, but then we'll go straight into step 1. This will always be my step 1, stress. This is literally communication. So when you are talking to people in your day-to-day life, you have to make sure, as much as you can, that you're stressing the right words. If we take the word banana, for example, if you already know where the stressed syllable is, great. If you don't, banana. Where am I putting more effort? Where is my energy? Banana. Banana. It's na. Banana. That's where the stressed syllable is. Every word is made up of syllables, and there will always be one syllable which has a bit more of a push, right? And this is what makes the word clear and understandable. So first, make sure that you know how syllable stress works. Make sure you're not saying banana or about instead of banana, about. And I really encourage you to start building a list of words you use a lot in your day-to-day life, and then also a list of what we call high frequency words. Words which we use a lot, which you can go through and make sure that you're stressing the correct syllable. Keep this list, it will be useful later on. Now we have the syllable stress. The next step is putting these words into sentences and making sentence stress. This is the final part of step 1, kind of. So just like in a word where we have one important part of it, a stressed syllable, in every sentence we have important words. Words which give context, words which tell the story. Words which actually give the listener something they need to hear so they know what you're saying. Did you hear me just then? I said need to hear. Need, hear. Those were the important words. Now what did I do with the word to? Need to hear. I pronounced it as t. That's because nobody gives a calm down, Elliot. Nobody cares about the word to. This is called a function word or a grammar word. And what we do is we relax it. We make it softer, we make it more relaxed, we kind of camouflage it so that the listener doesn't really need to hear it and we can make the stressed words more obvious. This will improve your rhythm, this will improve the speed at which you speak, and this is my favourite part. When my students have been working on this in the course after a little while, I usually get a WhatsApp voice message from them saying, Elliot, I can't believe how much my confidence has improved when I speak English, simply because of rethinking the way that sentence stress works and understanding what I need to give to my listener. So stress the right syllables and stress the right words in your sentence. Now, there are other things. Sometimes a sentence will have a primary stressed word, so one word which needs even more of a And then, of course, we have intonation. We won't go into that today, but just know that intonation, my best way of explaining it, is it's a bit like adding color to a black and white painting. So it adds emotion, sarcasm, confidence, many different things. Step 2, maybe you guessed it, it's the sounds. So there are many ways of working out what sounds you have problems with. The first step might be just thinking about your native accent, your native language. Do you have any really strong sounds in your accent? Maybe you're Italian and you roll your R's. Maybe you have one of the most famous problems, which is pronouncing the I sound as an E, and you say seat instead of sit. Or the opposite way round, where instead of saying sheet, you say sh. I've only talked about vowels. Remember, we have diphthongs, O, ow. We also have consonants. The TH sound, for example, maybe you don't have enough muscle memory. Sometimes you do a th, like in think, but then maybe sometimes you say duh instead of the. You have to look at the things which are either because of your native accent or habits that you've built. As well as that, think about times when people have not been able to understand you. Is it because of the way that you pronounced a word? Well, what part of that word was wrong? What part of that word did you pronounce incorrectly? Maybe you have a problem with that sound. Of course, the easiest way to find out is by working with a professional, but obviously if you can't work with a professional, you just have to do a bit of extra work by yourself. And my step 3 is something that so many people get excited about, so much so that they rush to it. They try and work on it before they improve step 1 and step 2, and that's connected speech. Connected speech is how we join our words together. For example, if you showed me something you created and I said, I love it, that would sound a bit robotic. So instead I would say, I love it, I love it. I'm joining the consonant V at the end of the word love to the vowel at the beginning of the word it. This is called linking. And what I'm doing is connecting my speech. I love it, get out, get in, get on. Great way to practice is with phrasal verbs. Just remember that consonants love vowels. If there's a consonant at the end of a word, it would love to join over and give that vowel a big hug. But vowels hate each other. If you have a word that ends with a vowel and the next word begins with a vowel, for example, we are, we're going to create a consonant to create the piece. So instead of saying we are, we are. We are. This is called an intrusive sound. We're creating a yod, a y sound, to join the two vowels together, joining the words together, so they can be at peace and love each other. If only the world was as simple as this. We need more consonants in the world. Where are the Germans when you need them with all of their consonants? We have other parts of connected speech which I haven't talked about today, but I could be here all day. That's a whole chapter in my course. Just remember that the most basic and kind of beginner part of connected speech would be linking and intrusive sounds. Now, everything I've said so far, you can probably do after a bit of practice just by reading things. You have to really focus on what's happening and what the word looks like. But how do you start putting it into your day-to-day speech? There are a number of different ways. I mean, you could start trying to speak more freely. Maybe just focus on one vowel sound and record your voice. Do a journal at the end of your day. Talk about your day, talk about the people you met, how you're feeling. This is really good for your mental health as well, but you can also practice your pronunciation at the same time. As well as this, writing down and remembering phrases, sentences you use a lot in your day-to-day life. For example, when you order a coffee, when you talk to a friend, write down these frequently used things that you say, whether it's a list of words and then a list of sentences or whatever, and just practice saying them, because the more you practice that sound or that form of connected speech you have problems with, the more it's going to start kind of moving into your free speech as well. So the goal is to build muscle memory through lots of practice, both conscious practice and practice when you're speaking freely as well. So make sure you're just focusing on one thing at a time. You need a step-by-step approach. And don't forget, every part of the accent, every sound, every aspect is a journey for you. There will be some things that just take a little bit longer to fix than others. The other problem is it's hard to know if you're doing things right or wrong, is your tongue in the right place, and all of that stuff. So sometimes you just need a bit of feedback. Now, that's where I could come in. I do have a pronunciation course which you can join, and it includes daily WhatsApp support and feedback and guidance. So you can send me voice messages, whether that's conversation, questions, or just practicing some things from the course. And I will, of course, correct you and do all of that stuff. So head down to the link below. If you would like to work with me on your pronunciation, you can go to etjenglish.com. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Bye.